All right, here we are in our market analysis for today. So I think that the biggest thing for us to do is to take a look at our major market indicators. Let's start here in our SPX. Okay, so SPX, no reason to believe that we should be getting short right now based on our indicators. Little interesting here. So we gapped up pretty, gapped to right here, challenged up there to the top, and we went back down into the bottom. So when we're taking a look here, this might be easier to take a look here on the SPY. Got our new market. We closed this gap, right? So we closed the gap high there at 334.75, low at 334.68, so a 7 cents gap close. So, here we are. We had a massive bullish engulfing candle yesterday. So I thought that we might have a little bit more upside potential due to the fractal energy scan here. Didn't tell me that we were necessarily looking at going in one particular direction or another. We do have, a style of doji here, so style of doji here, style of doji. We've seen a little bit of indirection, and we lost there. We are up after hours, so even if we were to go here and do a ES, so you can see up a little right now, 1/10 of a percentage point. Let's just go into the 1 hour. Earlier today, we're down a little bit. Be interesting to see what happens when we start challenging some of these other candles. I still remain largely bullish here. So I'm certainly going to be watching, see if we get any follow through past this tomorrow. As I look at my own position here, I could certainly use a retracement. Right, here's where I'm at for my position. I could certainly use us moving down. I mean, I would love to, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'd love a 326, go ahead and get out here, or even down to the 330 range, because we are very quickly going to approach expiration. So we go back to our charts here. Just some things to note. You're going to see similar charts across all of the major indices. You got the gap up and down above the 9 EMA, which largely means that we're going to stay bullish here. Let's look at the RUT. Even better, let's look at the IWM. Again, Doji, we were up here, so almost a percentage point above the 9 EMA, above the 50 SMA, above the 200 SMA. So we're going to continue to just assume that we're bullish. This is a nice little fake out here. Probably a good trade at the end of yesterday would have been to go short here at 164. Or enter a, we even go, let's go to the IWM a couple weeks out. So let's see what would have happened. Go short 164. Or at the 164. Yeah, you could have got nice credit here. 164 to 163. Could have looked good. We're gapping up after hours. So back to our charts here. VIX. So we take a look here at the VIX. VIX was up, which is interesting. VIX is up on a SPY up day. Okay, so we've seen this massive move since the 3rd of February, but if we go to the VIX VXX isn't necessarily telling us 3rd of February. Is this that candle? No. So here's that candle here on the 3rd of February. So we're down about 10%. Certainly not to the level, and you could even look at the term structure right now of the VIX, and we're seeing similar concerns. Yield curve, let's take a look at the yield curve. Nothing super to note on the daily. Really tight here on the yield curve. So we see that there. Let's go through some of our securities. Let's start at the top. Personal. We're going to select our watch list. So major market indicators, and let's just go through these real quick. EEM, pretty major gap up. I also could use a down day there. EEM, gap up, retraced throughout the day. EFA, same thing, gap up, retraced, did not close that gap. Gold's been in this nice, real channel since the beginning of the year, third trading day. You see a really nice channel, really hasn't gained or lost anything here, so we're just watching gold. HYG, we got our bonds, gap up, finish lower. IWM, gap up. Doji, junk bonds, gap up, finish lower. Qs, same thing, gap up, finish lower. S&P, gap up, finish lower, targets to the downside. We've got some targets here because of these gaps. Let's keep going down. TLT, this actually is good for me here in TLT. Just go to the analyze. IWM, let's move to TLT real quick. TLT was good for me, right? Quite a lot of risk on here in TLT. But really, we're just letting 4 Theta continue to do its thing. Bring this in. See if we can't get a couple $100 here in profit on this particular position. Let's go back to our charts. USO. USO may be trying to bottom. You know, we're seeing this kind of tight consolidation here, right at these levels of, pretty significant historical support, right? So right at 10.5, we're seeing us try to, in fact, let's even add a quick draw here at 10.5. So this is a area to watch. We've lost since the beginning of the year 30%. All right, from a high of 1330. And so I just think that these are some levels that are worth watching here. Then, of course, we have this level down here. If we see another breakout down, I think it'd be fine to potentially even go short via credit spread at 11, 10.5, somewhere around there. So UVXY, same thing. UVXY up, though down after hours. VXX, same thing. And there we are in our video. Okay, so this is where we're at. Some really interesting things going on. Let's just go ahead and save this grid since we made a couple of small changes. As we look in for a watch list, let's scan TAN. Not really interested in doing anything with TAN. Let's add the long ETF. Waiting for results. HLIT, probably not interested in grabbing anything there. Let's go further out and see if there is anything in all of the securities that we trade here. Yep, so you're getting Amazon, Bright House, DocuSign, Sprint. Sprint had an interesting day. And let's just go to Sprint. So Sprint on huge volume. Ended at the high of the day. Gapping down a little after hours. I wonder what intraday. Let's even go to the SPY intraday. I think that this is worth discussing just real quick. Alright. So you can see really down the entire rest of the day. After hours ramping. Who's surprised? It's pretty par for the course here. Ramp after hours. Let's adjust this. Yeah, so what we'll want to do is we'll go ahead and just make this like 9 o'clock. 9:48. 9:48. Click OK, there we go. So that looks a little bit better. Just a little bit more accurate there. Okay, so this is where we're at. Going into tomorrow. Some of my thoughts. If we gap up, I'm going to be looking to see how we respond to some of these levels, right? So intraday, we've got this 335.9 level. We've got this 336.50 level, and then of course 337.02 that we're going to be watching. See how it responds there, and then of course at the low at 334.75. So depending on what happens with these, we will, make some adjustments, consider what to do tomorrow. In regards to our scan, really not a lot popping on the scan that I'm interested in doing outside of our typical positions, right? What we do every single day, right? EEM looks great. Right here, just letting theta continue to go there. Looks really solid there. EWZ looks great. Gold, both positions look great. IYR doesn't look so great, so I do need to do some adjustments there in IYR. S&P, gonna look to add here on this second. Here, so we're gonna look to add right here. TLT looking great. UVXY position looks fine. XBI, it's weird. XBI is looking fine. Let's take out this one. Looks solid. Looks solid. Excuse me. And then XLE also looks great. So, we have a pretty decent portfolio going on right now. We're making really solid moves, and I feel really solid about where we are at. Okay, there's our market overview for today.